What's up, family? So apparently Nolan Wells, there could be deleted information on his phone that can be retrieved. So let's go ahead and get into the video.
Mississippi State Mayor's Office announced that it has completed both Wells' autopsy and toxicology report, but those results are going to stay sealed until the grand jury gets the case.
Ooh, okay. That's some news. So why is it gonna stay still? They got something. There's something interesting.
And while the medical findings are off limits, we know Wells' family is doing everything they can to get other information. Nolan's mother, for example, subpoenaed Meta, Snapchat, TikTok, Life360, seeking his messages, photos, GPS data as she pushes for answers as to what happened to her son. What are they going to learn?
Oh, she's not playing. They're about to find something, and something's about to get exposed. She subpoena everybody and everything. Ooh, this is getting serious. Like, so basically, we about to see all messages, all deleted messages. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully this brings justice to Nolan Wells, because this situation is crazy.
I want to ask digital forensics analyst Morgan Wright to talk about this. Morgan, good to see you. I have a lot of questions. So first of all, if they get all these records, okay, assuming that the companies don't put up a legal fight, if they get everything they're looking for, best case scenario, what is that going to tell them about what happened to Nolan?
That's a good question, Jesse. The thing I would do is I would take all of that information, I would map it against the GPS we have from the boat, when it left, when it slowed down, when it sped back up, map that with the call, and then map all of the digital media and the time and date stamps and location to that. So you can kind of create like a kaleidoscope,
like a time frame,
a compendium of things that show you the timeline. When were pictures taken? What kind of data is there? Was he seen on the island? Was he not? Was he seen on the boat? So, we don't know what we know until...
So he basically saying, if they get these phone records and they can match the GPS of the boat with the phone records and the text messages, that's a case. That's a legit case. So if they get all this information, they can build a real case. That's what they're saying right now. And it's about to get real. It's about to get real. So and we know from the beginning of the video, the autopsy reports and the toxicology reports have been sent or have already been sent up to the grand jury. They're ready. They got something. The grand jury is getting notified when there's a crime involved. When something ain't right. A mysterious death. So this is where we at. And I think they're not trying to release it yet because of the uproar, or maybe they don't want stories to change, but something definitely happened to Nolan Wells.
We get this information, but I would start with the timeline. I would map the call against the GPS location, and then map the social media when you get it to that.
Will they know if information has been deleted from any of the apps from the phone and when it was deleted? Because if they can create a timeline, if he was no longer on the boat and he was on Horn Island, would they be able to know what was deleted and when it was deleted?
Yeah, there's a couple companies out there. One that a lot of people have heard about, Celebrite. They do do a lot of great work on digital forensics, extraction.
So if them boys deleted anything from their phone, it's about to come to the light. They have several different companies that can do this, that can trace messages. They got a major one right now that they're using called Celebrite that's going to be able to track these messages and see what was deleted, what was sent out, at what time, and build a real good time frame for us so we stay in the loop and we're not confused. So all these stories and stuff is finna get shut down. The facts are about to come out. Oh, man. They ain't playing.
So yeah, if as long as it hasn't been tampered with or people haven't gotten in there looking around, that's part of the problem, right? Anytime you go in there, you start changing the footprint of what that device was. You want it in the pristine state. But Cellbrite could still, an extraction like that could tell you what was there. And most of the time, depending on the operating system, who logged in and how, could tell you what was deleted, when it was deleted. That would give you some ideas if it was deleted. I'm not saying it was, but if it was, a Celebrite report could give you a lot of good facts.
There was news that came out that the family has also issued preservation notices to the family members of Nolan's friends, and I believe investigative agencies as well. My legal point of view, you're putting the pieces in place for a potential lawsuit. I've always wondered, if you go through the lawsuit route, you go through discovery, can they get answers that they may not get through the criminal investigation, the legal investigation, the law enforcement investigation? What kind of data could they get there, and how would that help them in their search for answers?
Well, look, yeah, first of all, the preservation notice, when I was a detective, we did the same thing too. It just says don't delete the records, don't do anything. Spoilage is indication of guilt. I mean, that can be inferred in a court. So I think so far the families are all cooperating from what the record shows. So, and then what you would look at is look for communications, look for text messages, look for any.
Don't you guys think it's crazy that Nolan Wells' family is cooperating very well, and they've been with the police trying to figure out what's going on? They're trying to paint Nolan to be this crazy drunk or cocaine dude that, you know, had a bad trip and had an accident. You know what I'm saying? And his family is, you know, doing everything the legal way and trying to get justice for their son, and yet we still get a million different stories. So now they're coming out with the facts. They're finna put it into the gray area, and this is gonna get real interesting. And it's about time we get justice. It's about time that something comes out. Hopefully they come out and they put up a real fight and they really show us something that, you know, can give us some real answers. If it was an accident, we just want to know. But the way the stories came out and the lies and all the things that have been made up along the way, it couldn't have been an accident. Everybody know it wasn't an accident, so we just want to know what happened.
Thing that shows contemporaneous texts or communications that might be tied with the disappearance of Nolan, when he disappeared, or was he seen? Did anybody say I saw him? So yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can get, but when you do that, that's a civil suit, right? So you can get a lot of information in discovery in a civil suit, but the grand jury can get a lot more information because they have full subpoena power, right, including the toxicology, including the autopsy.
By the way, I love that our digital guy here almost froze. I mean, it seems almost ironic, but we're good. We got you, Morgan. I want to play you something. This was a big piece of news this week. So Nolan Wells' family hired an audio engineer to review this distress call that was made from the boat that day. I want to play, and I'll tell you what.
So basically, Nolan Wells they're coming out with some real evidence, and they're not playing around at all about this situation. If y'all still with the video, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We're going to drop new content every day. This is about part 3 or 4 of the Nolan Wells situation. We're going to keep following this case. Please let me know in your comments what you think they're going to find. Do you think they're going to find anything at all? I don't know. But y'all let me know in the comments.